Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician. The lead attorney. Yep, that's the lead attorney, and that's how he often starts his live streams. If you know anything about the lead attorney, he's a very affable person. He's very laid back. I would even say more laid back than Curtis Mayfield in his classic back in the 70s called the Cadillac song, when he's laid back, leaned back, chilling in his Cadillac. But the lead attorney is a great example for what happens when we don't have a world or a culture that's based on strong masculine authority. If you know anything about the lead attorney, he's a very strategic, but at the same time, he's very cerebral in his thinking. And he interviewed a woman recently called Suzette Speaks on his show when he was talking about the trends in dating and relationships. But after that show, the lead attorney was accused of being like Kevin Samuels. And many often accuse Kevin Samuels as being a tyrant. But the problem is not that the lead attorney or Kevin Samuels are tyrants. The point is, a lot of our women suffer from a thinking disorder called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance occurs when, one, they deny the evidence through a term or synonym that I created called death, but they deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue the fact, do ad hominem attacks. Instead of attacking the message, they attack the messenger, and then they fight or flee because they can't handle the truth. And that cognitive dissonance is going to cause many women to be alone because they fail to introspect and do the shallow work to help them become better versions of themselves. But when you live in a society where preachers often coddle our women in their pathologies, when liberal groups and politics coddle our women in their pathologies, when their girlfriends coddle them in their pathologies, and where the world coddles them in their pathologies, regardless on how you present the truth, it's going to always be an issue. The lead attorney is a man that's a lawyer by trade, so he knows how to think, and he knows how to examine people. But in my times of understanding dealing with the lead attorney, he's a fair person. And as I said earlier, he's very affable. He's easy to talk to. But it becomes a problem when men try to come in a spirit of brotherhood and a spirit of being genuine to help assuage our women in their ignorance. And when you get a barrage of women that actually attack a man to the point that he has to go back and read chats and read emails to help clear up the air, it becomes an issue problematic. And it's problematic because in other countries where the men actually rule, they don't have to explain themselves. The women understand and respect the men, and actually the women are in place. But we live in a world where men and women actually are in ignorance because men actually defer power to women. And women expect power many times because they have not grown up in the level of maturity to have what's called cogent conversations. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this show as the lead attorney in Kevin Samuels talks about the importance of relationships. And he's going to have Suzette Speaks back on the panel as Kevin Samuels is talking about how he wants women to have better outcomes so that they can get the relationships that they want. And I want you to remember this. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. Understanding female psychology and also understanding the importance of male mental and physical health is paramount to the efficacy of a person. Enjoy this dialogue by the lead attorney Kevin Samuels and Suzette Speaks, and ask yourself the question from his prior shows: was Kevin Samuels fair? Was the lead attorney balanced in his jurisprudence? And did the women that attacked the lead attorney have a schema affliction? He will.
This is a little bit of what we do.
Let me jump in.
Yes.
Let me jump
Yes.
in. All right. It appears that Kevin Samuels wants to come up. Listen, and you just said, because I was listening with my half an ear, you just said that it wasn't him, it's the brand, right? Well, let's just look at her face. It's not, listen, y'all
I don't think that's a good idea, Lee. I don't know. Because I didn't come up for that interview for any type of advice.
All right, here's what I'm
I just came up as a sport. Like, y'all called me up, I came up. I wasn't trying to have me dissected. That's not what I came up for. I thought I was part of a conversation about what my experiences were. But again, it leads to other questions and people wanting to know and people wanting to put you on the hot seat. But if I wanted to call Kevin, I would. But that's not where I am. I don't know.
Fair enough. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Y'all tripping.
No. Ain't nobody gonna force you to ain't nobody gonna force you to talk to him.
Lee,
all right?
I can say hello, but I don't wanna
No. I've dropped the link. Please no one hit the link for 5 minutes. No one hit the link. I'm gonna drop you. Please no one hit the link if Kevin Samuels wants to come up. I would love to talk to him. Right? You don't have to talk to him, but I want to talk to him, and I want to talk to him specifically about how powerful he is in the Black community, because anytime you yourself brought him up multiple times in a situation where I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. Multiple people email me, even some people in the comments were like, oh, you're trying to be like Kevin Samuels. He's just dominated the whole sphere.
No, he's amazing at what he's doing.
He's Absolutely. So big. He's so it's so powerful. Shout out to Jonathan Barronville. What does Jonathan say? Suzette, you're too cute to end up with a chihuahua in a stroller like so many of these ladies in Atlanta. And he's calling them out. There's so many of these ladies like this. Kevin Samuel said he's trying to get you married, Ma. How you gonna say no to the one and only high value man vending machine? Yes,
Lord, y'all. Oh my God, I need to listen. I'm telling you, 3 days ago or however long it was, I said to my friend, like that morning, dude, this, because I did not hear about him till very late. I heard about him in like 2-3 months ago. So I wasn't even a follower, as some people have been with him his whole.
You just heard about Kevin Samuels 2 and 3 months ago?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. So I was not even a part of that manverse or manosphere, and all of that and what that was. So I have got a quick acquaintance of him. I'm not privy to his early work, and people tell me that he started out with men and he was just as hard on men as he is with women, or wanting to gain some reality check and truth behind why they are who they are and where they are. So people are like, it just, and this is my quick synopsis of what I've learned about him. I don't watch him regularly, so I don't feel like I'm like fully necessarily engaged in his work, but he's just asking women the same thing he would have asked a man from when he first began his career. So it just, I guess, is more popular, and what has what people have desired, because he had tried that, and that formula has been working. So
all right, I have a lot of respect
for him. Yeah.
Let me jump in here. Let me give a big shout out to Dexter Matthews. Thank you so much, Dexter Matthews. Such a generous super chat. No question, no comment, just pure love. All right. Thank you so much, Dexter. Really, really appreciate that. Y'all hold me up so much. Now, for a first. Oh, look at her face.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing.
Listen,
I dip,
All right, listen. You're in my Patreon, right? You're a new YouTuber. Just on the fact that this man has 1 million subscribers, such an excellent content creator, I would recommend that you stay up. I really would, because you do not get to talk to someone on this level on a daily basis.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't. So this is a huge opportunity for you as a YouTuber alone. All right. I know you kind of seem like the boogeyman or something like that. You guys are always bringing him up, right? But that's because of how powerful his message is and how big his message is. But You said that you thought I treated you right, and there's no reason to think that Kevin Samuels ain't gonna treat you right. All right,
Yeah, I just don't want the dissecting. I can listen. I'll be a fly on the wall.
no problem. All right. So for the first time, let's get our man Kevin Samuels up. How are you doing, Kevin Samuels?
Give me 15 seconds and I'll show you how you can get featured in major media like NBC News.
I am well. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. First of all, let me just say thank you so much for coming on the platform. Really, really appreciate it. It is an honor to have someone like you who has done so much in this space to come up here. So I really, really appreciate it. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this was kind of after the whole Suzette thing, is that in our, what kind of irritated me a little bit, and I can say this in front of Suzette because she's here, you know, she kept bringing you up when I was just trying to have a conversation. And then after the conversation, I got emails from people saying, oh, you know, you're trying to be like Kevin Samuels, you're trying to be like Kevin Samuels. And what it showed me was really how powerful you are in the culture, where as soon as a Black woman and a Black man try to have a conversation, your name comes up. So I really want to salute you. And, you know, what do you think about that? That now, you know, if African Americans talk to each other, two genders, your name comes up. You know, what do you think about that?
Well, you know, first, several things. One, that when I was speaking to men in the same way for years, I've already mentioned that it really kind of went, you know, largely unnoticed or unheralded. And I'm just speaking the same things I've heard on the campus, in the frat room, in the boardroom, in the barbershop, in the gym, in the weight room. I'm nothing that I'm saying is uniquely Kevin Samuels. I've taken my considerable skill set, just like any other professional, and crafted the message to where it can be effective, but it's not uniquely mine. And that's number one. Number two, the whole average at best video, when that video dropped, people were having Love Jones-like lock-ins around the country. When you crack 200,000 views on World Star in a day, it would be extremely egotistical to think this is about you. This stopped being about me so long ago. I am a full-on avatar. I'm an avatar kind of like the Dallas Cowboys are an avatar. They're called America's team. And there are just as many people who love the Cowboys, hate the Cowboys, but the Cowboys will forever be on Monday Night Football and other places because they are America's team. So I find it interesting that, in particular, because I fit an avatar, I make an avatar that's like, you're tall, you're professional, you're accomplished, you're a good-looking guy, well-dressed. Black women are used to having men like that tell them from the pulpit and from the jukebox everything they want to hear. But that doesn't work. So when my very clients who are Black women will come sit in my chair or we'll talk, I got a Black man who's wanting something, a Black woman who's wanting something. Why can't these two people connect? Because I'm hearing what they both want. But the difference is, just like Rebecca Lynn Pope, April Mason, Ileana Van Zant, and countless others have mentioned, it's hard to move a conversation forward when only one side is truly wanting to listen to be accountable. So with me, I'm like an avatar. It is incredible to me how many people will flat out tell you, I don't like him, I don't listen to him, I don't watch his content, but then yet will go on a 30-minute diatribe about everything that's wrong with me.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is they do listen to me. They do listen because I'm their brother, I'm their cousin, I'm their ex. I'm the lack of the wedding ring on your finger. I am everything that you say you want, but the thing you cannot get. That's why you don't prioritize me. So it's also one of those things to where it's not going away because I've never tried to make myself as perfect. And all I do is have a conversation night in, night out, in front of everybody, unscripted, unedited, with me just using the Socratic method and the cross-examination. The skills you're talking about is something that consultative salespeople, if you have the amount of the millions of dollars of training I have in me, it's communication.
Yes.
And I just do it in front of everybody to where people can make their own decisions. But the funny thing is, the very people who say that I attack this and I do that and I do, the funniest thing is one of the largest cohorts of people who watch my content are married Black women.
Mm. That's interesting. Let me just jump in because, you know, so many people, even the emails that I got, and, you know, even like Suzette was saying, oh, like this is like Kevin Samuels, this is like Kevin Samuels. So many people, it seems, have a critique about your style or your channel, and yet the people that are calling into your channel are Black women. Like, how does that work? Like, what's the rationale do you think behind that?
Well, when they say this is like Kevin Samuels, I'd ask the follow-up question: What does that mean? Mm-hmm. This is like Kevin Samuels. What does it mean? It means that I'm asking you what you want, and what do the kind of men you want from a woman? What's so inherently wrong with that question? Because when men were hearing these things, you know, scrubs and ain't nothing going on with the rent, men had to deal with the challenge that 1 in 3 of you are in jail or felony or this and that. Men have had to do something about that. So I'm just asking, what do the kind of men you want from a woman? And see, that's what we've never talked about. We've always talked about Black men, as underachieving, this, such, and so forth. But so many things have happened. One, we have the data at our fingertips. We have decades and decades of research, statistics to fly in face of all of these popular tropes, to the point to where the facts, the data, statistics, and your lying eyes won't allow you to stay, comfortable. So I find it interesting that having a law degree, a medical degree, a PhD, a master's, or something like that is not automatically prohibitive to any other race of women for finding a suitable husband except our women. It's just, and nobody can have the conversation because if you were attempting to have the conversation and anybody there are people who are on these platforms right now who will tell you he's been the same since college. Mm. I've been having these conversations since 1989. Ain't nothing really changed except more information. But the difference is, I ask Black women across the board, since we're talking about Black people, do you want to be right or do you want to win? Because you can't have both. So being right is more important than have at it. Buy a dog and die alone. And that's a choice. And that's a choice. Because like this week, I've been focusing on the fact that I said it, that a large part of the reason why Generation X women are the reason they are is because of their mothers. And I've gone through the breakdown of the science and everything like that, because at the end of the day, my generation, the women were not taught to prioritize relationship. They were taught to prioritize education. But the problem with this education is not making an outcome. I don't care how educated you are. If you are not going to be in the top 10% of all female earners, relationship must be a priority. It's not an option. Mm-hmm. But yet when you have 74% of Black women making $50,000 or less, and then these same women saying that they don't want to prioritize relationship, well, then how do you plan on getting between 65 and 85? Because when I say prioritize relationship, I mean relationship with any man, not just a Black man. Mm. And what so many women are starting to look at is and especially for college educated, I call it pretty professional problems. I've been on this for the last 6 to 9 months. It is ridiculous that there are so many attractive, professional chronically single Black women. But it's the similar root causes. One, not prioritizing relationships. Relationships are a skill, just like communication. You don't just wake up and decide to do it. And just because you have a Harvard MBA doesn't mean you can have it. Number two, the overall ethnic image of the Black man in their mind. They have to address that. And then three, understanding that in your work world, you can be whatever you want to be. But in our life, there is a relationship, there are gender roles. And every other group of people seems to deal and understand that human beings have evolved this way. And the net of it is, no matter how you slice it, the women who will openly get together, pop wine, sit and make, tell each other how much they hate my content are the same women that are pouring their hearts out to me in email after email. If I don't often I've never brought it up, but I get these emails every day from women who are telling me that I first didn't, I can't talk to my friends about this. I can't do this. I can't do that. But what gives me hope is that there are women who were none of this stuff was working for, who finally decided to just listen. And in under 6 to 12 months, life is completely different.
Wow.
They're making videos talking about, first I didn't like him, now I'm married. Thanks to Kevin Samuels, I'm the best. Thanks to Kevin, I'm back with me and my baby daddy are married now. Me and my ex-husband are back together. So it's like, forget if you like me, do you want a different outcome? And if the outcome is something that involves a man, then you ladies can help yourselves get it.
Yeah, I hear that. For women in the profession that me and Suzette have, attorneys, and I've heard you say before that sometimes women attorneys, those are tough professions for women to have if they're actually looking for a marriage, right?
Yep.
What are 2 or 3 things that, let's say you have a woman and she's 35 and she's really focused on her career and she's trying to make partner in a few years, but she's lonely and she thinks she has time, but she's also looking around and she doesn't have a man, she doesn't have a kid. What are 2 or 3 things that you would say that maybe she needs to focus on, or maybe avert her attention from to really get what's important that's going to make her happy long term?
That's kind of a long question. So are we talking about a woman that's an attorney, or we just talking about high movers?
No.
What are we talking?
Well, since it's me and Suzette are attorneys, right? I was kind of saying it to attorneys, but we could also we could say high movers. It's the same thing, whether they're attorneys or corporate.
One of the first things I'm going to always go back to is height, weight, dress size. Like it or not, the kind of men that women say they want things. And we're not talking about being able to deal with, we're talking about being able to get and keep. And if you don't have room to put on 30 to 50 pounds of baby weight, most guys are not going to take it seriously. But let's just presume that we're talking about the 20% of women that are already fit according to whatever medical metric you want to use. You're at 20 to 30%. All right. These women need to detox from all their single friends, from their mother, unless because likely her mother is unmarried. Because women who are raised in a 2-parent household that really truly prioritize relationship, loving family, such and so forth, women don't typically make it past age 27 before they're married. Because women look forward to being married like kids look forward to Christmas. Black women today look forward to Christmas like they're getting their gift bag with socks in it from that aunt you don't like. So in order to get what you want, you need to completely do a 180, meaning you need to get single women, keep women single. Leave your single girlfriends alone. You need to get comfortable with being alone. I need to throw you into a withdrawal situation. Why? You need to get up off of social media, get off Instagram, get off of Facebook, stop watching TV, all these things that color your mind with what's going on. Your focus needs to be renewing your mind so you can have some emotional availability, and so you can actually radiate and have and vibrate at that energy level of the kind of man who's a husband looking for a wife. Because many women think that I'll just put myself out there, but I'm going to tell you, the men that I'm talking about don't even see you because you're not vibrating at the right level. Your energy is off. Here in Atlanta, there are plenty of beautiful women who go unseen in the category of wives. So basically, remove yourself from the singles scene, your single friends, get up off of social media, and then you have to do something completely different. The women who already have what you want, the women who are moving in a more, who are your married friends? What are you doing that actually demonstrates your nurturing, caregiving feminine? That's why I keep asking women about recipe books and all this other kind of cookbooks and everything else like that. Not so you can go home and cook a 10-course meal. It's so you can be shown to be doing something for someone else, because at the end of the day, men want peace and tranquility, but they also want a woman that makes them a priority. So the woman you're talking about trying to make partner track and all these other kind of things, unfortunately, she's going to have a prohibitively hard time because her husband is her job. The time to find your husband was undergrad. So you got to choose. And this is why women are going to have to decide. Is it more important to be a partner and have this $300,000 to $400,000 annual income and working a lot, or would it be better to be $175,000 or different kind of attorney or whatever, and then prioritize relationship? You cannot have it all. And under age 35, you still have choices. Over age 40, choices start getting made for you.
So if a woman is, let's say she's 40 and she's a partner in the corporate world, should she give up, or what should she do, do you think?
Well, I don't say give up, but where I'm starting to see a lot more with women like this is they're starting to date younger men. Because men are in their age range.
People ask me every day, what do I do to look the way that I do?
It is going to be for most women, it's going to be too difficult to take off the partner hat and come home and be the wife, not the partner, the wife. It's just and it's because our culture, we're not talking about in the other cultures where the CEO of Pepsi was raised in a 2-parent household to where their culture supports families and so forth. And I would rather speak to probability instead of possibility. A lot of our women deal in possibility. Well, if you want to live your life according to possibility, go drain your Fidelity investment account, 401k, and put it in lottery tickets. It's possible, but they wouldn't do that. See, what we're ultimately talking about is taking life from a selfish, hyper-individualistic pursuit and making it about somebody else. And it's hard for somebody that's 40 years old who has a certain standard of living, because let's be honest, as I'm sitting in Buckhead in a high-rise apartment, I've come accustomed to a certain kind of living.
Right.
But I've earned that. Many women are not willing to take a step down to where their man is earning. That's why this whole high value man thing came up, because when asked, nearly 100% of all women want that kind of lifestyle, whether they call it high value or not. And if you all can't get it, what are going to be the differentiators? Honestly, if you're 40 years old, you should be outpacing or outclassing women in their 20s if you had learned the lessons. Because what is some of the big things if men our age decide to date women in their 20s? What do you want with that little girl? What do you want with this? What do you want with that?
Right.
Well, all things being equal, she has less miles in her mind. Less miles in her mind, so less potential damage and trauma. Now, and the question isn't what do we want with her? The question is, what do you bring to us? See, modern women have been told that they need to be passive in the mating and dating market. And that's not how this thing works. the ability to procreate and move your genes into the next generation is highly competitive in animals. You don't just get to mate because you want to. You don't just get the best men because you want to. And then if you do decide to get, if you do get a man that's in the top 10% of all men, why are you special enough to keep them all up by yourself if you've not done anything? Mm-hmm. See, and my question, and the things I talk to women about are the things that they know. When I do my one-on-ones with women, which are every day, I have, as a matter of fact, in a few minutes, I'm about to do my Patreon. I have attorneys, female attorneys across the country who are clients who are my Patreon. Women know it's, can you talk to your girlfriends about that kind of stuff? And most people's personal lives will not support what I'm talking about, because they call it pick-me behavior or thirsty or desperate. They will come throw some sort of black girl magic at them to tell them, girl, you ain't got to do that. You're a queen, you're a diva, you're a goddess. Mm-hmm. Say hello in your house and hear the echo.
Right.
And when every time I talk to these high-powered attorneys, all I hear is deep, deep, deep. You know what that is?
The fire detector, the smoke detector, because they can change it.
You got no man, the single woman tell. And the thing is, it comes sadly when you are. This is why when I was in sales, I sold to attorneys primarily and their physicians, because you have a God complex. Most people didn't like selling to attorneys. I loved it because I knew that if I could close, because I was their kind of asshole. But those people tended to be the most loyal. They spent the most, because once you can convince an attorney to buy your product or service, they're not really going out to vendor shop, because they're trying to get out and continue to get those billable hours up. Same thing with physicians. So it's not as though the women who are attorneys or physicians aren't women, but the things that men want in women are not the things that make you successful in business. Right. So you have to ask yourself, on the dating market, because I know where my resume ranks, my job skills, I know what my asking price on the market. Well, then what are your relationship skills? If relationships were a recruiter and I was a headhunter, would you be entry level or minimum wage? Or would you be a high earner? Could you really command the kind of dollars in your, and that's why you ask a lot of women, what do you bring to the table? And one of the first things they want to tell you about is their education and their income, because that's what they focused on becoming. And then to sit back and even say, at my age, I have not prioritized relationships as much. Now, here's the last part of it. It's not over. But I would suggest for women to start treating it as that though it's over, because it's going to be over soon. It's going to be over soon. If you're over 35, like I said, this year I'm focusing like a laser on the years between 30 and 40. But really after age 33, that's where the hey big head thing in winter is coming. Look, if you take children off the table, or a family of more 2 or 3 off the table, that really changes your sexual marketplace value to the kind of men most women say they want. So if a woman is looking for a man who doesn't want children, that means he has likely already had kids. Most women want men who are within about 5 to 7 years of them, earning 50% or more than they are as a minimum, similar educational attainment and sophistication level. So we don't talk about sophistication level, because they want to be able to go and do a lot of the same things. So the more things a woman adds on the list, the smaller the pool gets. So I'm like I heard you say earlier, you do not have the luxury of not using every tool available to you to maximize available potential suitors. But the one thing you need is to understand what those men want. When I hear women talk about what they want in a husband, all I hear is the Charlie Brown teacher, want, God-fearing character, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, You have not sat down and put any real thought into this. It's a bumper sticker. And in a bumper sticker, it all will do. So I'm about 15 more seconds. The net of it is this, especially in our community. Black women, for this part of the conversation, have been told, taught, and incented to be hyper individualistic to the point to where even our young women in their 20s to 30s, you fully got 60 to 70% of these women on some entrepreneurialism, get the bag, I'm got to build my business thing. Whether it's mink, whether it's hair extensions, nails,
right,
supplements. And I'm like, how do you plan on becoming a wife, a mother, and then build a straight up $1 million business and all of that while you're living in your mama's house? It's like, no, you got to decide. And deciding that life is about people and life is about relationships, and understanding that you have chosen you've been told, chosen, whatever, you've decided to go down the career path, fine. But that ain't gonna keep you warm. And when you're reaching past 50, when health issues start to happen, that's that whole dying alone thing. So I'm glad many women look at me as the boogeyman, like I'm Michael Myers or Jason, because he's exactly getting your mother, because it's getting your mother crapping, just getting your ass running down the street. He's getting you focused on the fact that, I don't want you to ask me. I want you to ask me this. I want you to ask me that. Why? You didn't worry about being asked any of those things if you're proud of it.
Wow. Right. Right.
I mean, when I went to school, I didn't worry about a pop quiz in chemistry or biology because I was the #1 student. Give me a pop quiz if you want to. I'll embarrass you. But I didn't want a pop quiz in physics because I was just average. But I had to do the work and stay after school and go tutoring and all this other kind of stuff. So when I became an A student in physics, then I came into physics class with the same level of confidence I came into biology and chemistry. I want Black women to come into the relationship market with the same level of confidence they're going into the corporate world, and then you'll get the outcome. But in order to do that, you're gonna have to prioritize it like you prioritize everything else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Kevin Samuels. I know you got to run to your Patreon. Y'all go check out Kevin Samuels' Patreon. Y'all hear the knowledge that he's dropping up here. Really, and just really want to thank you.
You're welcome.
For coming on. It's a huge honor for me as a small content creator to have somebody come on of your stature come on the platform. And again, every time I try to have a conversation with a woman, you come up like the boogeyman, just like you said. So it's good to have you finally on here.
But here's the funny thing. Unlike Jason or Freddy Krueger, once they catch you, you know the end. When I catch you, I'm actually bringing a husband and children. You get a choice to decide. You can write your own ending. You just wrote a jacked up beginning. You're the author of both stories. Write something else. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.